Dry mouth. Not for those reasons. Alright. Welcome back to Zuko Builds. Before I get into what we're building today, I know the next few videos are going to be pretty short videos with small scrap projects. I'm in the middle of refurbishing a bunch of furniture. I'm switching roommates, so cleaning up the house a bit, and that's taking up a lot of my time. If you guys are interested in seeing that refurbishing, or is refurbishing a word? If you want to watch me refurbish some furniture, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below, and I'll record some videos of me doing that. So today's build, we are making these little coasters. Super cool, super easy. I got a new dining table, so I figured let's make some coasters to protect the wood on top. And these don't take too long. I made it out of some scrap walnut and mahogany, and it took me maybe 30 minutes to make all of these. So yeah, super quick today. Let's get right into it. So these coasters are 4 inches by 4 inches, and they're made out of walnut and mahogany. I'll go ahead and rip my mahogany into 2 half-inch pieces, and I'll rip the walnut into 1 inch and 2-inch pieces. That'll give me my 4-inch square. Now if you're making these to a different dimension, then obviously disregard the ones that I just gave you, but have fun with these. You know, maybe try cutting a bunch of little strips to change up the pattern a bit, but have fun with it, get creative, and make it yours. Once we have all of our strips cut out, we can go ahead and start the glue up. You'll notice I have it in 2 sections here. Each of these sections add up to a little longer than 8 inches, so cut that in half. You have 2 4-inch coasters per set. So just keep that in mind and be sure not to glue them all together. Just to make sure that everything stays nice and flat, I went ahead and made these cauls out of some more scrap. And when you're tightening your clamps, make sure not to over crank it. You just want it to be snug enough, get that nice glue bead going down your joint, and don't really crank it down. A lot of people tend to do that. And of course, just start with light clamping pressure, get everything in place, and then go ahead and tighten it down. Here's a quick tip to get glue off pretty clean. I usually let it sit for about 30 minutes, just so it hardens a little bit but doesn't fully cure, and I'll take a paint chisel or a paint putty knife and just go ahead and scrape it off. This comes off super easily, and it ends up being a lot less sanding. Next, I'll go ahead and go through my sanding process, and while I'm doing that, I think now's a good time to remind you guys to check out my Instagram at Zuko Builds. I post all of my builds, most if not all of my builds on there with better quality photos. So go say what's up, leave a comment, shoot a follow if you're not following already, and stay up to date with all of my builds. Then once everything is sanded so it's buttery smooth, I'll go ahead and clean up one end, flip it over, and then cut it down to my final dimension. This is why I make my first cut so it's a little bit longer. That way you have room to clean it up after the glue up. If you cut everything to its exact dimension, you're going to be worrying about getting that glue up so perfectly, and this is just so much easier. This next step is totally optional, but I wanted to give a round over to all of my edges, and if you don't have a router table or if you don't want to do this, then go ahead and skip this part. But I think giving it a little bit of a better profile just makes the whole aesthetic of it look so much better. After that, I'll go ahead and clean up the edges again by hand with 220 grip. This is just going to clean everything up and make sure that it's ready for your finish. Whenever I'm using walnut, my go-to is Danish oil with a natural finish, and feel free to use whatever finish you guys like using, but this just makes the grain pop so beautifully, and this is my go-to with walnut especially. And I mean, just look at how much this grain pops and the natural colors come out. This is seriously my favorite part, especially when working with hardwoods. It's just so satisfying. Talk about buttery smooth. And once you're happy with the finish, we're pretty much done with these. It's a quick way to get rid of some scrap wood, and it adds a nice little character to your table. Hope you guys like this build. Thank you for watching. Okay, notice anything different? I went ahead and made a little stand for these coasters. Look at how cool that is. Yeah, I made this off camera because I was running out of scrap hardwood, so I just made it quickly out of pine just to kind of show you guys what you can do. I made the base a little bit wider and longer than the coasters themselves. The base is a square, and just drilled some holes for some dowels. You can use any size dowels you want. Totally up to you. So many options, so much fun, and look at how cool that is. Beautiful. So like I said, the next few videos are gonna be pretty quick videos, just small projects, but let me know down in the comments below if you wanna see me refurbishing all the stuff that I'm doing. But yeah, this took me 20-30 minutes to make, and super simple, but it's gonna add a nice little character to the dining table. So I hope you guys like this one. Sorry for the short videos, but I'll go back to longer videos when I can. So thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button if you liked it. Subscribe, follow me on Instagram at Zuko Builds, and I'll see you guys next week.